Hello and welcome to this Science Saves video. My name is Matt Gardner and I used to work as a clinical scientist in radiation safety physics, but now I focus on a range of healthcare science education projects. The Science Saves programme was founded to raise the profile of healthcare science and its careers. And in this series of videos, we're interviewing healthcare science staff from a wide range of specialisms. And today the question we're putting to them is, what innovations and changes are on the horizon in your specialism?
Point-of-care testing is a rapidly developing innovation in my field and is enabling diagnostic testing being performed at patient site, not only in a hospital, but also at the GPs, community pharmacies, and even at patient homes. And so I'm currently working with the experts in the field, writing a guide that summarizes what good and safe practice looks like when using point-of-care testing technologies.
But where I worked in medical physics, we went through a lot of changes over my 30-year career. When I started, MRI scanners were only just beginning to come into hospitals. And now when I look back at the advances that we've made in science, that's made medical physics so interesting to follow. And I often wonder what comes next, what's next in the world, what's not been invented yet that is going to help medical physics and progress it even further. And I thought maybe something like quantum mechanics, quantum physics, is that going to make radiotherapy more advanced? Is medical imaging going to be so accurate? Are we going to be able to see such small, minute detail because of quantum mechanics? Very good quality scanning procedures maybe, or molecular drug research. Is that going to be the next big thing of the future?
So my specialism, there's probably two main areas of development that I foresee happening, and they're both related to technology. So first would be the big data concept, and how the NHS is going to cope with this, I don't really know, but the amount of data we're able to obtain from patients, even compared to 10 years ago, is fantastic, and all these diagnostic tests can be fed through into this sort of big data concept. So there's been studies looking at the ECG in fine detail with artificial intelligence and being able to predict which patients might get heart failure in the future, which is a fantastic development, even in apparently normal ECGs, which you or I might think are normal. And then I suppose the other side of it is how we're using the new technology on a day-to-day basis and how that can be utilised in a clinical setting. So for instance, smartwatches, particularly the watches that can perform ECGs, we really have an opportunity to detect disease that we never had before. If you've got a walking ECG monitor on you all the time, all it takes is just pressing a couple of buttons on your watch and you can send that ECG to your doctor, or maybe in the future clinical scientists, to assess and then escalate where possible. We really have an opportunity to find disease that we hadn't, and then ultimately save lives and help patients for the good.
There are many innovations in clinical biochemistry, such as taking over the running of clinics, such as lipid clinics. This allows for more patient contact. Other innovations include managing and introducing new point-of-care devices around the hospital setting.
Ophthalmology is a very active research area. Last year, some of our patients were the first to receive the first ever approved gene therapy for a rare genetic eye condition called Leber's congenital amaurosis, LCA, which normally causes blindness from childhood. So it's very exciting to be so close to such cutting-edge research. And this paves the way for lots of other gene therapies which are in the pipeline for other kinds of eye conditions. I've seen that some researchers are working on incorporating AI and machine learning into eye scans, and this could help diagnose conditions earlier by picking up very subtle signs of disease, predicting how it might progress and how someone might respond to treatment. But science moves so quickly that probably by the time you see this, there's lots and lots of research that's out.
Medical physics is a really interesting specialism in my opinion, because there's always innovation occurring. A really good example, I think, is the different types of fusion imaging that are being developed. Fusion imaging, also known as hybrid imaging, is when you take two different imaging modalities to form a single new imaging modality. A good example is PET MR imaging, where you can use positron emission tomography, or PET, to obtain really good physiological information about the patient, while simultaneously taking a magnetic resonance image, which is fantastic for obtaining anatomical information about the patient. And these hybrid imaging modalities open the door for many different patient studies, and it's really exciting to be at the forefront of that.
We're constantly seeing novel and exciting techniques for managing complex fertility cases, and there are most definitely increased research efforts to help us understand more causes of infertility that are currently either unexplained or lesser understood. Within the fertility sector, artificial intelligence has experienced massive growth. For example, can computer algorithms help embryologists select the best embryos? I think that providing evidence base, innovation and change is always really exciting, especially if it can make us more efficient within our roles and improve the quality of care that we can offer to patients.
Lots of research is currently being done in respiratory science. For example, using novel ways in order to assess lung conditions, such as through impulse oscillometry. This technique uses sound waves in order to measure the stiffness of lung tissue. So unlike regular breathing tests, this method is independent of patients having good technique, therefore is likely to give more reliable results.
I'd like to give a huge thanks to the scientists who took part in this interview. It's really exciting to hear about all the innovations happening in healthcare, which are going to benefit patients for decades to come. And whether it's point-of-care testing, artificial intelligence, advances in the use of computing, it will be healthcare scientists helping to make it happen. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the Science Saves YouTube channel and like us and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We're at SciSaves on both of those. Thank you very much for watching.